there are two types of packages available: predefined packages as well as user defined packages. What is the meaning of predefined packages? Uh, in the Java language, there are so many classes and interfaces available. Those classes and interfaces are already grouped to packages like java.lang, java.io, java.util, java.sql. Like that, there are several packages available. Out of all, lang package is the default package. You can directly access the classes of lang package, no need to import. But if you want to go for other package classes like IO, util, SQL, then we need to import them. And what about user defined packages? In our project, we will create our own packages to organize project classes and interfaces. So to create a package, we will use package keyword. So this is the naming convention we will follow to create the packages. Now, if you want to use one package class in the another package class, you need to go for import. Package should be first line in the class. After the package, we can write many import statements. Packages and imports are optional but recommended. All right. If two classes are in the same package, then do we need to import them or we no need to import them? If two classes are in same package, then import not required. All right. Then later we started our discussion related to exception handling. So when we are running a program, that program may terminate successfully or may terminate abnormally. What is the meaning of successful termination? Huh. Successful termination is also called as graceful termination. Is also called as graceful termination. What is the meaning of graceful termination? Program will start, program will execute, and it will terminate. Termination after executing program successfully. That is called as successful termination. What is abnormal termination? That program will be terminated in middle of the execution. Program will be terminated in the middle of the execution. So when the program will be terminated in the middle, if there is any exception occurred, then the program will be terminated in the middle. If a program is terminated in the middle, then the program is called abnormal termination. So what is the exception? Yes, unexpected and unwanted situation in the program execution is called as exception. When the exception occur, it will disturb normal flow of the program execution. Exception will disturb normal flow of the program execution. When exception occurred, program will be terminated abnormally, right? So as a programmer, we are responsible for programs graceful termination. So how can we achieve graceful termination? To achieve graceful termination, we need to handle the exception. Whatever the code we are writing, we need to make sure that the code is working as expected. That means exceptions should not occur. And if exception occurs also, we should handle that exception. The process of handling the exception is called as exception handling. Right. What is the main aim of the exception handling? The main aim of exception handling is graceful termination. All right. So in the Java, there are so many predefined exceptions are already available. Java only provided some exception, boss. If you do this mistake, this exception will occur. In this scenario, this exception will occur. Like that, Java already provided so many predefined exceptions for us. All right. What are those predefined exceptions? What are those predefined exceptions? Arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, file not found exception, SQL exception. Like that, there are so many predefined exceptions available in the Java. Now, all the exceptions are divided into two types, guys. One is exception and second one is error. So what is the super class for that? What is the super class for all the exceptions? Throwable. From the throwable, two classes are extending the properties. One is exception, another one is error. Okay, throwable is a super class. Throwable is the topmost class for the exceptions in the Java. For the throwable, there are two subclasses available. What are those subclasses? One is the exception, another one is error. Exception is again divided into two types, guys. One is checked exception, another one is unchecked exception. First one is checked exception and second one is unchecked exception. Checked exception and unchecked exception. Checked exception and unchecked exception. Okay, then next we have error. We have error. Can we handle the errors or we cannot handle the errors? We cannot handle the errors. So in the interview, they will ask about exception hierarchy. In this hierarchy, throwable is the root class. Throwable is having object as a root class. For the throwable, there are two subclasses available. One is the exception, another one is error. In the exception, this exception is divided into two types. One is called checked exception, another one is called unchecked exception. Okay, what is the difference between exception and error? Exceptions can be handled, whereas errors cannot be handled. The next one, exception types. Exceptions are divided into two types. First one, checked exception, unchecked exception. What is the meaning of checked exception? These exceptions, they will be identified at the compile time, but they will occur at the run time. What about unchecked exception? They will directly occur at the runtime. Compiler cannot identify them. These exceptions cannot be identified by compiler. Compiler cannot identify these exceptions. Checked exceptions will be identified by compiler at the compile time. They will occur at the runtime. Unchecked exceptions will occur directly at the runtime. Compiler cannot identify these exceptions. Okay. Now, guys, here exceptions, when we are getting the exceptions in the program, we need to handle the exception. If we don't handle the exception, our program will be terminated abnormally. Let us see one scenario. String s is equal to null value. S is a variable belongs to string type. S is a variable belongs to string type. It is holding null value. Now I am trying to perform system.out.println s.length. I am trying to print length of the string. So what is the value available in the s variable? Null value. Null means nothing. If you perform some operation on the null value, then you will get null pointer exception. You will get null pointer exception. Run this program. Run this program. Okay, can you see? Is it executing successfully or it is giving an exception? Java.lang.null pointer exception. Null pointer exception occurring. So in which line it is occurring? Demo.java line number 8. What I am doing in the line number 8? Yes, dot length. S is a variable holding null value. Then we are going to get the null pointer exception. Okay, so my program is executing successfully or my program is terminating abnormally? Abnormally, my program is terminated. Okay, see here, system.out.println ended. Ended. Now run this program. Is that line is executing? Line number 10 is executing or not executing? Not executing, because program is terminated at the line number 8 only. Program got some exception at the line number 8. I'm getting the exception in the compile time or I'm getting the exception in the runtime? I'm getting the exception in the runtime. Any exception which occurs in the runtime, can I call it as unchecked exception? Yes, null pointer exception is one of the example for unchecked exception. Null pointer exception is one of the example for unchecked exception. Arithmetic exception, one of the example for unchecked exception. These exceptions are occurring directly at the runtime. Compiler not able to identify. Whenever this null pointer exception occurs or arithmetic exception occur, your program will be terminated abnormally. Program will be terminated abnormally. Now, I want to achieve graceful termination. I want to achieve graceful termination. System.out.println main method start. Main method start. Here I'm going to write main method end. Main method started and main method ended. Main method started, main method ended. I'm running this program. I'm running this program. Main method started. Line number 7 executed, but line number 13 not executed because of this problem. Here I am getting a null pointer exception. When I get this null pointer exception, my program terminated at this line. This line is not executed. This is called abnormal termination. This is called abnormal termination. Can you tell me what is exception now? What is exception? Unexpected, unwanted situation which is disturbing normal flow of the execution. When exception occurred, our program will be terminated abnormally. How many types of exceptions are there? Two types of exceptions are there. Unchecked exceptions, checked exceptions. What is the difference between unchecked exception and checked exception? Unchecked exceptions will occur at the runtime. Checked exceptions will identified at the compile time will occur at the runtime. If a compiler can identify the problem, that is called checked exception. Compiler not able to identify, but I am getting in the runtime. That is called unchecked exception. Now, as a programmer, what is our duty? We need to achieve graceful termination. Is this program having graceful termination? This program does not have graceful termination. This program does not have any graceful termination. So what we need to do? Exception handling. We need to go for exception handling. When we go for exception handling, Java provided 5 keywords. Java provided 5 keywords to handle exceptions in the program. Java provided how many keywords, guys? Java provided 5 keywords to handle exceptions. First one is try, second one is catch, third one is finally, fourth one is throws, fifth one is throw. Okay, so there are 5 keywords available. First one is try, second one is catch, third one is finally, fourth one is throws, fifth one is throw. These are 5 keywords we have. By using these 5 keywords, we can handle exceptions. We can handle checked exceptions as well as unchecked exceptions also by using 5 keywords. Okay. Now let's understand what is the purpose of each keyword. Understand what is the purpose of each keyword. First one is try. So try, it is used to keep risky code. Whatever the code we are writing, if that code is having some problem, then better to keep that code in the try block. So whatever the code you are writing, if you have some doubt on your code, maybe this code may not work. This code may give you a problem. This code may give you an exception. If you have such a kind of doubt in your mind, then keep that code in the try block. So what is the purpose of a try block? It is used to keep risky code. Now, when we are going for try block, syntax will be available like this. Syntax will be available. Try block starting point, try block ending point. Inside this try block, you can write any number of statements. Inside the try block, you can write any number of statements. Try. Try is used to keep risky code. This is the syntax of the try block. Inside the try block, you can keep any statements, but there is a problem. You cannot write only try block. We cannot write only try block. Why? Because inside the try block, there is a chance of getting the exception. Exception may come, exception may not come. Whenever exception occurs in the try block, we need to write the catch block. We need to catch the exception. In the try block, exception will occur. When exception occurred in the try block, we need to catch that exception. So now we cannot write only try block. So when we are writing a try block, either you need to write catch block or finally block. So try should contain either catch or finally. It can contain both also. Try, catch, finally. So the value we cannot write only try block. We can't write only try block. We can't write only try block. Illegal. It is invalid. We cannot write only try block. So when we go for a try, you need catch also. Try catch. It is valid combination. It is valid combination. And you can write try with finally. That is also valid combination. Whenever you are writing a try block, along with the try block, you need to write either catch or you need to write either finally. Sir, can I write try, catch, finally, all the three? Yes, that is also valid combination. That is also valid combination. Whenever you are writing a try block, along with the try block, you need to write either catch or finally or both. Okay, so only try block. I'm writing only try block. This is invalid in Java. Compiler will not allow you. Compiler will not allow you. Whenever you write a try, along with the try, you need to write catch or try with finally. Try, catch, finally also you can write. Only try you cannot write. It is invalid. It is invalid. What is the purpose of try block? It is used to keep risky code. It is used to keep risky code. Now catch block. Catch block is used to execute the logic when some exception occurred in the try block. It is used to catch the exception which occurred in the try block. Catch block will be available, which is used to get the exception, which is used to catch the exception when it is occurred in the try block. A catch block is used to catch the exception. Is used to catch the exception which occurred in try block. Catch block is used to catch the exception which occurred in try block. We cannot write to write catch block. To write catch block, try block is mandatory. To write the catch block, try block is mandatory. Sir, can I write only catch block without to try? No. If you want to write the catch, for that try is required. What logic we will keep in the try block? Risky code. Whatever the code which will give you the problem, whatever the code which make you the problem, that code you need to keep in the try block. So if try block having some risky code, if some exception occurred in the try block, then only catch block will execute. If there is no exception in the try block, catch block will not execute. Now the syntax for writing the try catch. The syntax for writing the try catch is try block, then immediately we are going to write catch block. Immediately we are going to write a catch block. You cannot write any statement between try and catch. You cannot write anything, sir. I will write try and catch. Can I write some logic here? Invalid. Okay, after try block is completed, immediately our catch block should start. After try block is completed, immediately our catch block should start. Now what logic will be there here? Business logic will be available in the try block. What logic will be available in the catch block? Logic to catch exception. Logic to catch exception information. All right. Catch block is used to catch the exception which occurred in try block. To write the catch block, try block is mandatory. This is the syntax. Try, some logic will be there. Try block starting, try block ending. Catch, catch block starting, catch block ending. When the catch block will execute? When the catch block will execute? If some exception occurred in the try block, then only catch block will execute. If there is no exception in the try block, catch will never execute. Okay, if exception occurred in the try block, if exception occurred in try block, then only catch block will execute. If exception occurred in try block, then only catch block will execute. Otherwise catch block will not execute. Understand my point? Yeah, see, we are trying to understand exception handling keywords. How many keywords available to handle in the exceptions? There are 5 keywords available. What are those 5 keywords? Try, catch, finally, throw, throw. First we are talking about try block. Try block. What is the meaning of a try block? It is used to keep risky code. This is the syntax. Try. Inside that we can write the statement. But what is the problem with this? We cannot write only try block. Try, catch, valid combination. Try, finally, valid combination. Try, catch, finally, valid combination. Only try block, invalid. Try should contain either catch or finally, or it can contain both also. Then what is the catch block? What is the purpose of catch block? Catch block is used to catch the exception which occurred in try block. Catch block is used to catch the exception which occurred in try block. To write the catch block, try block is mandatory. Syntax. I am writing a try block. For the try block, I am writing a catch block. Inside the catch block, we are going to specify what is the responsibility of this catch block. When this catch block should execute. Whenever exception occurred in the try block, then only this catch block should execute. Why I am writing an exception? We are passing that exception to catch block. Can I write, instead of exception, can I write a null pointer exception? Yes or no? If I write like this null pointer exception, in the try block, if a null pointer exception occurred, then only this catch will execute. Are you getting my point? If I write null pointer exception, when this catch block will execute? Only if there is a null pointer exception in the try block, then only that catch block will execute. Instead of writing null pointer, I'm writing exception. Why? Exception class is the default super class for all the exception. If any exception occur in the try block, then my catch block will execute. For example, if I am writing arithmetic exception here, is it valid or invalid? Valid. But when this catch block will execute? If there is a arithmetic exception in the try block, then only this catch block will execute. I don't want to define like that, because in the Java, there are hundreds of exceptions available. Can you write 100 catch blocks? Can you guess which exception we will get in the future? We don't know. In future, which exception will occur in the try block? We don't know. So that's why instead of writing a specific exception, I'm writing a global exception. What is the advantage if I go for this? What is the advantage if I go for this? For any kind of exception, this catch block is going to execute. Try block, catch block. What is the purpose of try block? Come on guys, what is the purpose of try block? Try block is used to keep our risky code. What is the purpose of catch block? Which is used to catch the exception which occurred in the try block. When the catch block will execute? When there is an exception in the try block. If there is no exception in the try block, catch block will not get execute. Can we check that? Yes. Go to a program. Yes. We'll come to that. Public static void main string arguments. Okay. Here I'm writing try block. Can I write only try? Is it accepting? My IDE accepting or not accepting? Not accepting. Try should contain catch or finally. Okay. I'm writing catch. Here I'm writing exception E. Exception E. Then I am writing E dot print stack trace. This method is used to print a reason of the exception. Exception stack trace. Exception stack trace nothing but in which class, in which method, in which line number we got the exception. That is called exception stack. So there is a method in the exception class print to stack trace. So what exception we got, print the information of the exception. Okay, here I'm writing string s is equal to null value s dot length method. S dot length method. Okay, now here I'm writing system dot out dot println main method started. Main method started. Okay, then here I'm writing main method ended. Main method started, main method ended. Run this program. Yes, graceful termination is available or not? Yes, we have a graceful termination. First line of the method is executed, last line of the method also executed, but बीच में गड़बड़ हो गया था. Right, what happened in the middle of the program? Null pointer exception. So now s dot length, line number 9, s dot length. S is a variable which is holding null value. When this null value, when I perform some operation on the null value, I'm getting null pointer exception. When the exception occurred in the try block, from that line directly it will go to catch block. Okay, let me show you the proof. System dot out dot println try block start. Okay, try block start. Here I'm writing try block end. Try block end. Here I am writing system dot out dot println in catch block. We are in the catch block. Okay, run the program. See here. Yes. Main method started. Try block also started. Try block ended or try block not ended? Try block not ended. Why try block not ended? Why try block is not ended? Exception occurred. Try block is not ended because exception occurred. In the catch block, printing stack trace. What is the meaning of stack trace? Yes, where we got the exception, which line number, which class we got the exception, that exception stack trace I'm printing by using my catch block. Are you able to follow this? For example, if I am going to write here as arithmetic exception, here I'm writing exception called arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception I'm writing. Now catch block will execute or catch block will not execute. Catch block will execute or will not? See here. Catch block is executing or catch block is not executing? Catch block is not executing. Why the catch block is not executing? Try block is available. Try block is available. Inside the try block we are getting null pointer. But when this catch block is waiting for which exception? Arithmetic exception. But which exception occurring in the try block? Null pointer. Instead of arithmetic exception, if I write null pointer exception, yes, in the try block, whenever the null pointer exception occur, then this catch block is going to execute. Okay, save this program, run this program. Now see, main method started, try block started. In the try block, we got the exception. Whenever exception occurred in the try block, the control came to catch block. In the catch block, we are printing the stack trace. After the catch block is completed, my last line is also executed. This is called exception handling by using try and catch. Try and catch. Okay, guys, if I write like this, what is the problem? What is the problem if I write my catch block like this? What is the problem? So this catch block will execute only if we get null pointer exception in the try block. This catch block will execute only when we get the null pointer exception in the catch block. Suppose in future, if I have some operation like this, integer I is equal to 10 by 0, what exception we will get in the try block? Arithmetic. Is there any catch block to handle arithmetic exception? No. Can I write one more catch with arithmetic exception? Yes or no? Yes. One try block can contain multiple catch blocks also. Here I am going to write arithmetic exception. Okay. One try block is having two catch blocks. But what is the problem if I go like this? How many exceptions you can handle? Only two. One catch block is for null pointer. One catch block is for arithmetic. Tomorrow I will get SQL exception. Tomorrow I will get class cast exception. I will get array index out of bound exception. How many catch blocks you will write? Can you write 100 catch blocks? Is it recommended? Not recommended. So what is the recommended approach? What is the recommended approach? We are going to pass exception. We are going to pass the exception. What is the advantage when I pass the exception? All type of exceptions can be handled by single catch block. So now in the interview they will ask you, can I write one try block with multiple catch blocks? Yes, we can write one try block with multiple catch blocks also. All right, now see this. Look at this program, understand what we are doing in this program. Try block is available and catch block is available. Inside the try block, I have some code. So if the exception occurs in the try block, then control will go to catch block. What is the logic available in the catch block? Inside the catch block, we are just printing stack trace. We are just printing stack trace. What is the meaning of stack trace? What is the meaning of stack trace? Printing information about the exception. Where that exception occurred, which class, which method, which line number, that exception information will be printed on the console when we go for stack trace. Stack trace is one method available in the exception class. Sorry? It is a runtime exception, right? If it is a compile time, it will show you. Compiler will show you directly, but it is a runtime exception. JVM will tell you in which line we got that exception. No, at the end, whatever the exception we occurred in the middle, we handled that, and I terminate wherever I started and wherever I want to end. If my program is ended here, then it is called graceful termination. this will not print. This will not print. Why? Because whenever a problem occurred here, from here directly it will go to here. No. I mean the definition, graceful termination means our main method should be terminated completely. So that is called graceful termination. Yep. Understand how I am writing try block and catch block? Yes. What is the purpose of a try block? What is the purpose of try block? Try block is used to write the risky code. What is the purpose of a catch block? What is the purpose of catch block? Whenever exception occurred in the try block, that exception will be handled by catch block. Inside the catch block, what we will do? We will print exception information. Where we got the exception, which class, which method, which line number, that logic we will print by using catch block. After the catch block, your remaining logic we can write it. Okay. The regular execution, the regular flow of the program will be continued. Suppose if I don't write this try block and catch block, my program will terminate here only. My program will be terminated at the line number 9. If I don't write the try catch block, program will terminate at the line number 9. But here, when I am writing try block and catch block, where my program is terminating? Line number 17. That is called graceful termination. It is not terminating in the middle. My program is not stopping in the middle. My program is stopping at the end. That is called graceful termination. All right. One try block can contain multiple catch blocks also. What is the purpose of the catch block? Catch block is used to catch the exception which occurred in the try block. To write catch block, try block is mandatory. This is the syntax. Here I am writing a try block. Here I am writing a catch block. Inside the catch block, we can print the exception data. All right. Exception data, I'm writing. Yes, it is printing. For example, guys, here I don't have that line. Just I have string s is equal to some high. S is equal to high. S dot length. S dot length int I is equal to s dot length. Now tell me what will happen. Catch block will execute or catch block will not execute in this program. SOP, no problem. S is equal to high. S dot length is S dot length I am calling. It will give some length of the string as an integer. I am calling a method. Method is giving the length of the string. I'm storing into I variable, then SOP. Is there any problem? Will we get any exception? No. So exception is not going to come. We are not going to get any exception in the try block. When we don't get exception in the try block, catch block will execute or catch block will not execute. Catch block will not execute. Run this program and see. Save this. Main method started, try block start, try block end, main method ended. Catch block executed or not executed? Not executed. Why the catch block is not executed? Why catch block is not executed? There is no exception in the try block. So when catch block will execute? When there is an exception in the try block, then only catch block will execute. So in the below scenario, try block will not be executed. In below scenario, catch block will not be executed because there is no exception in try. There is no exception in try block. That's why our catch block will not execute. In the below scenario, catch block will execute because there is an exception in the try block. What exception? Null pointer exception. I am performing some operation on the null value, then we will get a null pointer exception. Can I write one try block with multiple catch blocks? Yes, we can write one try block with multiple catch block, but there is a rule. There is a rule. Now see here, I'm going to write catch arithmetic exception E. E dot print stack trace. Valid or invalid? Invalid. See that. Valid or invalid?
Invalid.
Exception is already handled in exception.
Huh?
Exceptions already handled in exception. E.
Here, my first catch block is taking what? Exception. My second catch block is taking what? Arithmetic.
Arithmetic
So this is unreachable catch block. Because whatever the exception occur in the try block, everything will go inside the first catch only. Because that exception is a super class. Then what is the use of this second catch block? No use. That is called unreachable catch block. So see the error. What is the error? Unreachable catch block. Why it is saying that it is unreachable catch block? First catch block is a super class exception. Second catch block is a subclass exception. So inside this try block, whatever the exception occur in the try block, everything can be handled by first catch only, because exception is by default to super class for all the exception. Then there is no use of second catch. Interviewer will write this code. They will ask you what is the output. They will ask you first catch will execute or second catch will execute. Nothing will execute. Compilation failure. The program will fail at the compilation. Why program will fail at the compilation? Second catch block is a unreachable catch block. Why second catch block is becoming unreachable? First catch block is holding super class exception. All the exceptions are acting as a subclasses for the exception. Whatever the exception occur in the try block can handled by first catch. There is no use of writing the second catch. That's why it is called as unreachable. Okay. When you want to write multiple catch blocks, what is the order? Child to parent. Whenever you want to write the multiple catch blocks, you need to go for child to parent. Okay. Here I can write arithmetic exception. Here I can write a null pointer exception. Here I can write the exception. Valid. Okay. Yes. How many catch blocks I am writing now? 3 catch blocks. When this catch block will execute? When there is a arithmetic exception. When this catch block will execute? When there is a null pointer exception. When this catch block will execute? When there is any other exception which is not null pointer, which is not arithmetic. Understand? When you are writing multiple catch blocks, the order should be child to parent, but not from parent to child. Got my point? Yes, these all are tricky questions. Tricky questions, right? We can write one try block with multiple catch blocks. We can write one try block with multiple catch blocks. We can write one try block with multiple catch blocks. Order should be catch blocks. Order should be
child to parent.
Order should be child to parent. Catch block order should be child to parent. Perfect. Now, for example, if I am going to write like this, I'm writing exception and I'm writing catch here. Here I'm going to write null pointer exception NE. Okay, system.out.println second catch. System.out.println second catch. And here I'm writing first catch. I'm writing first catch. And this here I'm writing second catch. Valid or invalid? Invalid. Why it is invalid? This code is called as unreachable code. So above program is invalid because of unreachable catch block. Below program will fail at the compile time. Below program will fail at compile time because of unreachable second catch block. unreachable, second catch block. So now can you tell me what is the combination of try catch? Okay, try catch is a valid combination. Can I write try with multiple catch blocks? Try with multiple catch blocks. Try with multiple catch blocks. Valid or invalid? This is also valid combination. But conditions apply. When you are writing multiple catch blocks, what is the condition? Order should be child to parent. If it is parent to child, invalid. Second catch block is unreachable. Very good. Just see handling keywords. We understood just two keywords now. First one is try. What is the purpose of try? It is used to keep risky code. Syntax, try block. You can write multiple statements inside the try block. So we cannot write only try block. Okay. Try block requires catch or finally, right? It can have both also. Try catch finally is also valid combination. Try catch valid. Try with multiple catch blocks valid. Try finally valid. Try catch finally valid. Only try block invalid. Okay. Try block is used to keep our risky code. Whatever the code you are writing, better to keep that code in the try block, because the code which is working today may not work tomorrow because of some data issue, because of some user activity, because of some other problem. Whatever the program which is working today, that program may not work tomorrow. So that's why always it is better to keep our code in the try block. Fine. What is the purpose of catch block? What is the purpose of catch block? Catch block is used to catch the exception which occurred in the try block. So to write the catch block, try block is mandatory. Right. This is the syntax. Try and catch. Here you can write any exception. If you write the exception, what is the advantage? It is a super class for all the exception. Whenever exception occur in the try, by default, this catch block will be executed. If an exception occurred in try block, then only catch block will execute. Otherwise, catch block will not get executed. All right. What is the question? Some multiple try block and a single catch block. Invalid. For every try, catch is required. Okay. So this is a try and catch. Null pointer exception. When this null pointer exception occurred, this catch block will execute. In the below scenario, in this try block, is there any exception? There is no exception. When there is no exception, then what will happen? Only try block will complete successfully. Catch block will not execute. And we can write one try block with multiple catch blocks also, like below. Okay. We can write one try block with multiple catch blocks also. Arithmetic exception, null pointer exception, exception. You see, order, child to parent. When I write three catch blocks, which catch block will execute? So based on the exception occurred in the try block, this catch block will be executed. If you get a null pointer exception, second catch will execute. If you get a arithmetic exception, first catch will execute. If you get SQL exception, third catch will execute. Understand? Right. So catch blocks order should be child to parent. But here what I have done? Parent catch block, child catch block. Valid or invalid? It is invalid. So you got the clarity? What is a try block? What is a catch block? Yes. Try is used to keep the risky code. Whenever exception occur in the try block, it will go to catch block. What we are doing in the catch block? Printing the stack trace. What is the meaning of stack trace? Information about the exception is called as stack trace. All right. It's optional. If you want to print, you can print. Otherwise, no need. Okay. If you don't print the stack trace, how you will understand? Right? If you don't print the stack trace, that concept is called eating the exception. In the real time, we will call it as eating the exception. Eating the exception, nothing but exception occurred, it came to catch block, you are not doing anything. You are not doing anything. Now, you see, you got the exception here. I mean, I'm going to print s is equal to some null value. String s is equal to null value. I got the exception. When exception occurred, it is executing. Suppose, for example, I'm not doing anything. I just written the catch block. Is there any logic in the catch block? No. What happened? I am eating the exception. I'm not printing anything. That means exception occurred. I am hiding the exception details. When exception occurred to the catch block, inside the catch block, I should write some logic to print it. But am I printing the exception? No. When I don't print the exception, how can I understand where is the problem? How can I understand where is the problem? Can I understand where is the problem here? No, I cannot understand where is the problem. That's why we should never eat the exception. Always we need to print exception stack trace. So in the real time, this is not the best. This is not the approach that we will follow in the real time. In the real time, there is a concept called logging. Logging, log4j. There is a concept called log4j. In the real time, we are going to use log4j concept to log application exceptions. So that we will discuss in the module 3. How to perform logging, what is logging, how to do the logging. Okay guys, right. If you want to attend logging workshop, this Saturday workshop is there by Raghu sir for the logging. But you may not understand that at this moment because still we are in core Java. Okay. In the real time, we are not going to print exception on the console like this. Instead of this, here we are going to implement a concept called logging. To implement the logging, there is a tool called log4j that we will discuss in our Spring Boot. Got it? Yeah. Currently, what I am doing, I'm just printing exception details on the console. How I am printing exception details on the console? By using print stack trace method. That's it. Good. Next one. There is another keyword available, that is finally block. Finally block. Finally block is used to execute some cleanup activities. Finally block. It is used to execute. It is used to perform resource cleanup activities. It is used to perform resource cleanup activities. It is used to perform resource cleanup activities. For example, yeah, this is my code. In this code, I am using file reader fr is equal to new file reader. I'm trying to read one file abc.txt. Okay, after that, after reading that file, I'm doing some operation fr.read. I'm getting some value. Now, after getting that value, int result is equal to read by 0. Int result is equal to read by 0. After this, I am doing fr.close. I am opening a file. I am reading the file data. I am performing some operation. I am closing the file. Can you see any problem in that logic? What is the problem? Arithmetic exception, that is a problem. No. Forget about that. Any other problem? Apply your common sense and identify the problem. It will leads to it will leak the data. No. People who are sleeping, wake up. There are so many people today sleeping in the class. Please wake up. नाचना है क्या मैं इधर? To entertain you people. Should I dance? Then do I need to sing a song so that you people will wake up? Do I need to sing or do I need to dance? Dance. No, assume that file is available, man. Apply your common sense. That is the what I'm expecting. The program will terminate gracefully or my program will terminate abnormally? Abnormally. Now see, my Java program is opening one file by using file reader that we will discuss in the coming classes, IO operation, right? Assume that there is a class called file reader. File reader fr is equal to new file reader, which is used to read the data from the file. Okay, when I execute this line of code, it will open a file. That means a connection will be established between my file and my Java program. My Java program will establish a link with a file. When Java program establish a link with the file, another program cannot read that file. Are you guys getting my point? My program is going to establish connection with the file. Let me show you. Yes, this is my Java program and this is my file. So this file is abc.txt. This file is abc.txt. This is my Java program. My Java program establishing a connection with the file, logical connection. My file is opening a connection. My program is opening a connection with the file. File reader fr is equal to new file reader. When I execute this line of code, line number 10, the link established between my Java program and file. Link established between Java program and my file. When this Java program opened a connection with the file, another Java program cannot access that. So after your work is completed, you need to remove this link. That means you need to close that file. Open the file and close that file. Okay, link established. Now, after link is established between the Java program and the file, I'm reading data from the file. I'm reading data from the file. After reading the data, I'm doing some operation, dividing by 0. When I divide that data by 0, when I divide that number by 0, what will happen? We are going to get arithmetic exception. When arithmetic exception occurred, 13th line will execute or 13th line will not execute, will not execute. So file will be closed or file will not be closed. File will not be closed. Directly it will go to catch block. Directly it will go to catch block. Okay, if it is going to the catch block, my file is closing or my file is not closing? Not closing. If a file is not closed, what is the problem? Other programs cannot access that file. Other program cannot access that file. Okay, I will remove this here. I will keep it here. Okay, but I will change my logic like this. Can I close that in the catch block? Why I should not close in the catch block? Is the catch block will execute every time? When the catch block will execute? whenever there is an exception in the try block, then only catch block will execute. Okay, now can I write like this in the try block as well as in the catch block? Then you are called as worst programmer. Duplicate code, right? Whatever the code I am writing in the try block, same code I am writing in the catch block. Then you don't know coding because it is a duplicate code. Now there is a problem. If I close the file in the try block, if there is a problem in the try block, my try block will not execute completely. If I divide the number with 0, something, if I divide the number with 0, for example, I will do like this, args of 0, integer dot parseInt of args of 0. What is the meaning of integer dot parseInt? Converting the string value to integer value. Can I call it as a command line argument? Can I call it as a command line argument? Yes, I can call this as a command line argument. If I pass command line argument as 0, exception will come. If you divide any number with 0, that will give arithmetic exception. If I get arithmetic exception, file will not close. File will not close. Now I'm going to take this line out. I will keep this line here. First of all, it is compilation failed. Why it is failing at the compilation only? Apply your common sense. Oops concepts. Yes, correct. FR is a local variable for the try block. Can I access local variable outside of the try block? No. Then what I need to do? I need to declare outside the try block. I will declare outside the try block. FR is equal to null. Now it is available outside of the try block. Now I can access that inside the try block. I can access that inside the catch block also. Getting my point? Earlier what I have done? Earlier I have declared file reader inside the try block. What is FR? FR is a variable. Where that FR is available? FR is available only inside the try block. This variable I can access only within the try block. Are you getting my point? I am not able to access that inside the catch block. If I want to access that inside the catch block, variable should be declared outside the try block. It is a local variable. We discussed about local variable, instance variable, static variable, local variable. What is a local variable? Inside the method, inside the constructor, inside the block also. Okay. So if a variable is declared inside the method, inside the constructor, inside the block, then that is called local variable. Where we can access local variables? Only within the method or within the block or within the constructor. FR is a global variable or FR is a local variable. Method local variable, block local variable, block local variable. So where I can access FR? Within the block, within the try block. Can I access that in the catch block? No, that's why it is failing. So oops concept. Instance variable, static variable, global variable. What is instance variable? The variable which is declared inside the class, outside the method is called instance. That can be accessed in anywhere at any place of the class. What is a static variable? Inside the class, outside the method with the static keyword. For the static variable, when memory will be allocated? When the class is loaded. For instance variable, when the memory will be allocated? When the object is created. When the object is created. Able to follow me? When the memory will be allocated for local variable? If it is in the method, when the method is executed, memory will allocate. If it is in the block, when the block is executed, memory will allocate. If it is in the constructor, when the constructor is executed, memory will be allocated. Now, FR is what kind of variable? Local variable. Method local variable or block local variable? Block local variable. For which block it is local variable? For try block. So where I can access FR? Only within the try block. But what I am trying to do? Accessing in the catch block. Can I access or I cannot access? I cannot access. If I want to access, what I need to do? That variable should be declared outside of the try block. Then we can access anywhere in the method. Now, how I am going to do this? Here, I'm going to write file reader fr is equal to null value. Now, here, fr one variable available in the method, another variable available in the method. Can I create two variables with the same name? No. Here, fr is equal to null. Here, I will remove the data type. If I remove the data type, what it is called? Reinitialization. It is called as reinitialization. Here I have initialized FR with a null value. Here I am initializing FR with a file reader object. Can I call I am reinitializing the FR? Yes, I can say that here I am reinitializing the FR. Okay, what is the logic I am doing? I'm reading the data from the file. I'm dividing the data with the command line argument. If a command line argument is a non-zero, then try block will execute successfully. If a command line argument is 0, try block will not execute successfully. Control will go to catch block. Now tell me where I need to write the logic to close my file. In try block. Very good. If an exception occurred, then now if I write the logic in the try block, is there any guarantee that always my file will be closed? Is there any guarantee that my file will be closed? No. If I write this logic, if I cut from here, if I write here, is there any guarantee always my file will be closed? Error. Close method is having checked exception, right? That is checked exception. We'll come to that later. Now, guys, observe carefully. I am opening a file in the try block. I am trying to close that file in the try block. If I try to close the file in the try block, what is the problem? If there is an exception in the line, file will not be closed. If I don't close the file, what is the problem? Other program cannot access. I want to close my file. I will cut from here and I will write here. What is the problem? Now I don't pass 0. I don't pass 0. Are you getting the concept? If I don't pass 0, it will not give the exception. If there is no exception, catch will execute or catch will not execute. Catch will not execute. If a catch is not executed, file will be closed or file will not be closed. File will not be closed. So that's why here I will write the fr.close in the try block. Then I will write fr.close in the catch block. If it miss in the try block, it will get in the catch block. In the there is a movie called Athadu. In Athadu movie, there is a dialogue. I kept 2 cars here. If you miss here, I will catch there. If you miss there, I will catch there. Yes or no? In Athadu movie, the dialogue is there. Brahmaji dialogue is there. Yes, there is a dialogue. I will keep 2 cars in the Amirpet. If you miss in the Amirpet, I will keep 2 cars in the Panjagutta. If you miss there, I will keep 2 cars in the Koti. That is like this, we are writing a program. How many places I am trying to close that file? 2 places. Is it recommended or not recommended? Duplicate code. Duplicate code. So we should not write the code like this. Now, if I remove this here, it will execute. But is there any guarantee always exception will come? There is no guarantee that always exception will come. If an exception occurred, then fine, file will be closed. If an exception not occurred, file will not be closed. Then I will write in the try block. I will remove in the catch block. If there is no exception, file will close. If there is an exception, file will not close. Okay, here, this scenario, what I need to do is, irrespective of the exception, whether exception come or exception don't come, I want to close my file. For that you will go for finally block. Finally block will execute irrespective of the exception. Finally block will execute irrespective of the exception. If you get the exception in the try block, control will go to catch block. After catch block, finally will execute. If you don't get the exception, try block will execute, finally block will execute. Finally block is used to execute some logic always. I want to execute some code always. So after executing try block, if there is no exception, I want to execute some logic. That logic we will write in the finally. When exception occur in the try block, it will go to catch block. After the catch block, I want to execute some logic. Then I will go for finally block. Are you guys getting my point? Yes. Now let us see here. This is my try block. Integer I is equal to 10 by 0. Now I am writing system.out.println catch block. Okay, here I am writing system.out.println try block. Try block start. I am writing try block start. Here I am writing try block end. Here I am writing catch block. Now for this I will write finally. I'm going to write one block called finally. System.out.println finally. System.out.println finally block. Now tell me what is the order of my program execution. Main method started. Try block started. 10 by 0. What is the meaning of 10 by 0? Exception occur. Whenever there is an exception, what will happen? It will go to catch block. After the catch block, finally. After the catch block, finally. Run this program. Main method started, try block started, catch block, then finally block, main method ended. Are you able to understand? Yes. Suppose for example, I will change it 10 by 2. Can you tell me the order? Main method started, try block start, try block end, finally. Catch will execute or catch will not execute? Catch will not execute. Why catch will not execute? There is no exception. When there is some exception in the try block, then only our catch will execute. But finally block will execute always. If you get the exception, if you don't get the exception, it doesn't matter. If you want to execute some logic irrespective of the exceptions, then you can go for finally block. Right. What is finally? It is used to perform resource cleanup activities, file closing operations, file closing, database connections closing, such a kind of cleanup activities logic we are going to write in the finally block. It is used to perform resource cleanup activities. Finally block will execute always. Finally block always will execute. Finally block will execute always. Will execute always irrespective of the exception. Irrespective of the exception, our finally block is going to execute. What is the valid combination for the finally? Can I write try with finally? Only with only try and finally? Yes, valid combination. Valid combination. Can I write try catch finally? Try catch finally? Yes, this is also valid combination. Can I write only catch and finally? Invalid. Why it is invalid? For catch we need try. For catch always we need try. Try with finally, valid combination. Try catch finally, valid combination. Catch and finally, invalid combination. Invalid combination. All right. Only finally, no. No. Only finally, that is also invalid combination. That is also invalid combination. Got it? Yes. Now we can write our logic like this. If an exception occurred in the try block, finally block will execute or will not execute. If an exception occurred in the try block, finally block will execute. If an exception don't occur in the finally block, sorry, in the try block, come on, finally will execute. Finally block always will execute. If you get the exception in the try, then also finally will execute. If you don't get the exception in the try, then also finally will execute. So what kind of logic we will write in the finally block? Cleanup activity. What is the meaning of cleanup activity? File close, DB connection close, etc. File close, DB connection close, etc. That kind of cleanup activities we are going to write inside the finally block. Finally block will execute always irrespective of the exception. Try with finally valid combination. Try catch finally valid combination. Catch will only catch and finally invalid combination. Why it is invalid? For catch block, try is mandatory. In order to write the catch block, try is mandatory. Catch and finally invalid. Only finally invalid. Only finally is also invalid. Let's try. I'm removing catch block. Yes. Is it valid? I'm writing try block and I'm writing finally block. There is no catch block. Run this. Can you see this? Main method started, try block start, try block ended, finally block is executed, main method ended. It is a graceful termination. There is no exception. Okay, fine. Let me give 10 by 0. Let me give 10 by 0. What is the order now? Main method start, try block start. Will this line execute? No. Why? Exception. Then directly it will go to finally. Main method end. Run this program. Main method started, try block start. Try block start. Kaha gaya finally? It should come. Yes. Try block start and finally block. Finally block is executed. Main method started. Okay, here it is printing main method started. Try block start. Finally block is executed. Main method ended or not ended? Why it is not ended? Exception occurred. There is a exception. This is a graceful termination or abnormal termination? Abnormal termination. That's why main method is not ended. Got my point? Yes. This is also valid. So with this we understood 3 keywords. What are the 3 keywords we understood? Java program with try, catch, finally scenario. With finally scenario. Java program with try and finally. Java program with try, finally scenario. In the interview, they will ask one question. What is the difference between final, finalize and finally? Look at the question. What is the difference between final, finalize and finally? Final is a keyword we can use for the classes, variables and methods. What is a finalize? Object class method will called by garbage collector when it is removing the object from the heap area. What is a finally block? it is used to execute some cleanup activities in the exception handling. So this is famous question for freshers. Final. It is a keyword for experience ke bacha hai, right? It is a keyword which is used to declare final variables, final methods, and final classes. We know already what is a final variable, final method, final class. What is a final variable? Final variable nothing but it is a constant variable. We can't change the value of the variable. So here final method. What is the purpose of final method? We cannot override. And next one final class. What is the final class? We can't extend. Okay. What is the finalize method? Method. It is a predefined method. It is predefined method available in object class. Available in object class, and it will be called by garbage collector before removing object. Before removing object, that means unused object. Before removing object. What is finally? It is a block we will use to execute some cleanup activities in exception handling. It is an exception handling keyword which is used to execute some cleanup activities. Final, finalize, finally. Final is a keyword to declare final variables, final methods, final classes. Finalize is a predefined method available in object class, and it will be executed by, it will be called by garbage collector before removing unused objects from heap area. Now finally is a block we will use to execute some cleanup activities in the exception handling. Guys, can I write only finally block without to try? Is it accepting? No. Finally requires try or catch. If I write a catch requires try. So the combination try catch, finally, or try finally. Try with multiple catches. Try with multiple catches and finally. We can write like that. Yes. So with this we understood three keywords in the exception handling. What is exception handling? Exception handling is the process of handling the exceptions to achieve graceful termination of the program. Exception handling is the process of handling the exceptions to achieve graceful termination. How many types of exceptions we have? Two types of exceptions we have: checked exceptions and unchecked exceptions. What is the difference between checked exception and unchecked exception? The exceptions which are identified at the compile time are called as checked exception. The exceptions which are identified at the runtime, they are called as unchecked exception. Can you tell one example for checked exception? Come on guys. IO exception, file not found exception, and SQL exception. What is unchecked exception? The exception which occur directly at the runtime. What are the keywords available to handle the exceptions? There are 5 keywords are available. What are those 5 keywords? Try, catch, finally, throws, and throw. Try block. What is the meaning of try block? It is used to keep the risky code. Now, so we can't write only try. Try block required catch or finally. Try catch, valid combination. Try with multiple catch blocks, valid combination. Try with finally, valid combination. Try with catch, valid. Try with multiple catch blocks, valid. Try with finally, valid. Try with catch and finally, valid. Only try block, invalid. Only catch block. Can I write only catch block? Only catch block is also invalid. Can I write only finally block? only finally block, that is also invalid. Try is required. To write the catch or finally, try is required. What is the catch block? It is used to catch the exception which occurred in try block. To write the catch block, try block is mandatory. One try block can have multiple catch blocks also. One try block can contain multiple catch blocks also. Multiple catch blocks also. Syntax: try, catch. Here, which exception you want to catch, you are going to write that. If an exception occurred in try block, then only catch block will execute. Otherwise, catch block will not execute. This is a try, logic is there. This is catch. If an exception occur in the try, this catch will execute. If there is no exception in the try block, this catch block is not going to execute. Okay, good. I have given the two programs also. Catch blocks order should be child to parent. Here if I am writing exception, null pointer. So what is exception? It is a super class for all the exception. Null pointer exception is a child class of the exception. Any exception which occur in the try block will be catched by first catch block. So second catch block will become unreachable. This program is invalid at the compile time only. Then we discussed about finally. What is finally? It is used to perform some cleanup activities like closing the file, closing the database connections, and all will comes under finally block cleanup activities. What are the valid scenarios? What are the valid scenarios? Try with finally, valid combination. Try with catch and finally, valid. Try with catch and finally, valid. Catch with finally, invalid. Only finally, invalid. Sorry? One try block, you want to write multiple finally blocks. Invalid. Invalid. It is not taking that. Finally, delete this token. Whenever you are writing a finally, before finally, either catch should be there or try should be there. Got it? Whenever you are writing a finally, it should be after catch or after try. But here, finally, I am writing after finally. Invalid. Yes, we can write it. But multiple finalies we can't write. One finally is sufficient. Na? Whatever the logic you want to execute, keep that in the one try block. No need to go for multiple finally blocks. And it is illegal. Not allowing. No. Order should be try, catch, finally. After finally, you can't write the catch. Why? Because catch requires a try block. Order should be maintained. Right. So if exception occur in the try block, finally will execute or finally will not execute. If exception occurred in the try block, then still finally block is going to execute. Okay, it will execute. If there is no exception in the try block, still finally block will execute. If there is an exception, if there is no exception also, still our finally block is going to execute. Okay, good. No. I will come to method hierarchy. So first we are understanding basic. So how exception will be propagated from one method to another method, we will discuss in the next session. So tomorrow we will learn about throws and throw. After that, I will talk internally how JVM will call the method. My M1 is calling M2 having an exception. What will happen to M1? That we will discuss. Once we are clear with the concept, then we will talk about internals. Still we are not clear with the concept because still few keywords are pending. Got it? Yes. Any questions? Final keyword, finalize method, and finally block. Satya, what is your doubt, man? You can post here. Finally block is a static level or instance level. You can keep it anywhere, right? You can keep it anywhere. Multiple finally blocks are invalid. What will happen if there is an exception in the finally block? Program will terminate abnormally. Okay, right. And can I write one try block inside another try block? Yes, nested try blocks are valid. Now you can write try catch inside the catch also. You can write it try catch inside finally also. Right? Right. See here, I am writing file reader fr is equal to null. Fr is equal to new file reader. I'm giving some name. I'm giving some name. Here I want to close the file. I will do that by using close. Now, when I go for this, surround with try catch. Valid. This is valid because inside the finally block, I'm writing try catch. Inside the catch block also we can write the try catch blocks like this. Nested try blocks we can write inside one try block. You can write another try block also. That we will talk about more scenarios once we complete that. Remaining two keywords, throws and throw keywords are available. Got it? Yep. Any questions? Runtime exception के लिए whenever you get a runtime exception, compiler will not know that. So whenever you get the exception in the runtime, what exception you are getting, that method is printing that. Let me will understand. JVM will print the data by default. Yes. So when I talk about the method propagation, I will tell you. Any other questions? Anyone? Why not? No, throws, I will explain tomorrow, sir. What is a throws? What is throw? I will explain in the tomorrow session. Yeah. All of you attending web development classes, right? Yes. For web development classes, recorded videos uploaded to the same portal. You can check that. So two sections available. So previous batch videos, current batch videos will be uploaded on daily basis. Oracle videos also uploaded. One class happened. How was the class yesterday? Fine. Right. The class notes is already uploaded to GitHub. So that Oracle access also provided for you people in the portal. You can log in into portal. You can check it once. So yesterday video is already uploaded. Access also provided for you. Daily video will be uploaded. Okay? GitHub का दिया ना group में link. GitHub का link दिया था. You can access. You can download from there. You can download from there. Okay? Good. Fine, guys. Thank you. We'll see you in the tomorrow class. Bye bye.